mornings at 6.
All right, good morning and thank you for joining us. We begin with a weather impact alert. Another red flag warning is about to take effect. Thanks for joining us here at 6 a.m. I'm Chris Groh.
And I'm Nada Irampour. So glad you're with us here. Meteorologist Evan Irani joining us to talk about the return of Santa Ana winds. How strong are today's winds going to be?
So today's going to be another very intense one. Tomorrow is really where things are most intense. And this whole week is a warm one for us. Red flag warning is in effect beginning at 8 a.m. today. It'll last until 10 p.m. on Tuesday. Winds are going to be most intense Tuesday morning and Tuesday afternoon. On top of that red flag warning, we also have a high wind warning from 4 a.m. until 8 p.m. on Tuesday. Speeds between 25 and 35 miles per hour and up to 75 miles per hour, in some cases upwards of it, across the mountains. Back to you.
Thank you, Evan. And because of anticipated winds, dozens of San Diego communities are at risk of having their power shut off. SDG&E says it may cut power to as many as 83,000 customers to prevent fires from sparking. So far, there are no shutoffs, but we can expect some once that red flag warning goes into effect. And new this morning, President Joe Biden has issued preemptive pardons to possible targets of the Trump administration during his final hours in office.
So those pardons include Dr. Anthony Fauci, who critics have targeted for his response to the COVID pandemic. Also, Mark Milley, the former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, who called Trump a fascist. Biden also pardoned members of the House committee that investigated the January 6th Capitol attack. And Biden says the pardons do not mean any recipient is guilty of any crimes, and none are required to accept the preemptive pardons.
And in 3 hours, Donald Trump will be sworn in as the 47th president of the United States. This, as dangerously cold weather has forced the swearing-in ceremony indoors.
You see so many people bundled up there in D.C. The parade will also be indoors at Capital One Arena. Yeah, a parade inside where people are already lining up. CBS News' Jared Hill with the latest from Washington.
It's fun to stay at the President-elect Donald Trump pumped up supporters at a rally in downtown D.C. just hours before taking the oath of office for a second time.
The American people have given us their trust, and in return, we're going to give them the best first day, the biggest first week, and the most extraordinary first 100 days of any presidency in American history.
Trump plans to sign around 200 executive orders after he's sworn in, ranging from diversity hiring programs to oil drilling and immigration. Trump is also expected to launch a series of immigration raids in cities across the country this week.
We'll begin the largest deportation operation in American history.
Some supporters say they'll be back in the arena today to watch Trump's inauguration, after he said frigid temperatures forced the ceremony inside of the Capitol.
I was really hoping to be able to be outside and be part of that, where you're actually with Donald Trump, but didn't work out, and that's okay.
There are about 30 miles of fencing throughout Washington, plus tens of thousands of officers and military personnel here to safeguard the inauguration. Crucial now, especially that so many who would have watched in the concentrated area in front of the Capitol will instead be spread out across the city.
Crews scrambled to build a special stage inside of the Capitol Rotunda, where roughly 600 guests, including former presidents, members of Congress, foreign leaders, and several tech CEOs, will watch the inauguration in person. Jared Hill, CBS News, Washington.
Several local representatives are in Washington, D.C. to watch the inauguration. Senate Minority Leader Brian Jones is attending, along with the former California chairman of the California GOP. A San Diegan who has served as delegate of the Republican National Convention will also be at the inauguration. Linda Lopez Alvarez of Escondido was at President-elect Trump's first swearing-in ceremony in 2017.
In history, that's the most amazing part. Just to be part of this is amazing, or to be included in it is just, it's an honor.
So due to the ceremony being indoors now, Lopez Alvarez says she plans to go to a watch party with other local representatives there in D.C. San Diegans on both sides are reacting to President-elect Trump's inauguration today.
Yeah, we are hearing from protesters as well as supporters of the incoming administration. CBS 8's Regina Irita live along Harbor Island with the events happening today. And Regina, what are both sides saying?
Yeah, good morning, Chris and Netta. And we noticed that thousands of people this past weekend actually participated in demonstrations across the country, and including here in San Diego. So we were able to catch up with those against the incoming president and those supporting President-elect Donald Trump. So take a listen.
Personality is abrasive, and he says what he thinks. His solutions resonated with me and, of course, millions of others. And that's when I voted for him in 2016, 2020, 2024.
And so, as you can see, this weekend, protesters and supporters held rallies to voice their opinions. Here in San Diego, rallies from both sides were held a few miles apart. The president of the Claremont's Republican Women's Group, who you just heard, told us this is the time the country should unite. At one point, she even mentioned how she was not a fan of the incoming president, but that quickly changed after noticing the policies he had implemented during his first term. Hundreds of people against the incoming president gathered at Waterfront Park. Organizers calling the rally the San Diego People's March. You could see protesters carrying signs that read "Veterans Against Trump," others with signs showing support for women's rights. The contrasting events signal divided opinions, but both sides sharing that it's for the country's best interest. So take a listen to what many were saying at the People's March.
Are approaching a time where many people are facing their rights being taken away. We've got the threat of mass deportations. We've got trans rights being stripped from states and potentially federal as well.
And another rally of the People's March is supposed to take place near Balboa and Juniper. Thousands are expected to attend. Meanwhile, the Republicans of San Diego are expected to have a watch party for the inauguration. That's latest here near downtown. I'll send it back to you.
The emotions of reuniting 3 female hostages held by Hamas are home this morning after the ceasefire deal between Israel and Hamas took effect. They spent 471 days in terrorist captivity in Gaza. Hamas has agreed to release 33 hostages over the next 6 weeks. Dozens of Palestinians were released from Israeli prisons as well, and aid has started arriving in the Gaza Strip.
And today is Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Thousands will use the day to volunteer with various organizations and reflect on King's mission of racial equality. Alliance San Diego will host an all-peoples celebration at Balboa Park, and the World Beat Cultural Center will host their own free celebration. President Biden honored King's legacy yesterday.
Black history is American history. Black culture. Black culture is American culture.
So as we come into this larger space of the gallery, one of the things we try to do is...
And today there are several closures for the holiday. City and county offices and libraries are closed. City rec centers and public buildings in Balboa Park are closed. Trash collection will be collected as scheduled, and parking meters in the city of San Diego will not be enforced.
The time right now is 6:08, and another red flag warning.
Another red flag warning, red flag warning, another high wind warning. This week, today through Friday, we've got those offshore Santa Anas joining us again. Take a look at where your temperatures are for this afternoon. Upper 60s and low 70s out there along the coast and inland. Going to be cooler out across the mountains and deserts because all that warm air from the mountains and deserts is going to be headed toward the coastline. That's that easterly wind flow that we pick up on. Winds are going to be most intense across the center two of these 4. That is your inland valleys, especially toward the foothills, and then across the mountains. So winds are going to pick up over the course of the day today and peak tomorrow morning into tomorrow afternoon. Actually, a very mild start to the morning right now. We're not sub-freezing in any spot in the county. Even Campo's at 33 degrees, 43 in Ramona, 48 in Encinitas, and 49 in Carlsbad. When we look at Julian, this is a great spot to watch for wind gusts to pick up. Julian, all the way down through about Pine Valley, seems to be the area of San Diego County that could be hit with the most intense wind gusts. They aren't all that intense right now, but picking up to the upper 30-mile-per-hour range as far as your gusts go by about 6 p.m., and then 26-mile-per-hour sustained speeds. This is just the beginning. By the time we get to tonight into early tomorrow, especially early tomorrow, that's where we're going to peak and where we see gusts around 60, 70 miles per hour and sustained speeds upwards of about 30 miles per hour. So it's going to be a very windy stretch as we go overnight from tonight into tomorrow, and that's going to spike our fire danger. That's why that red flag warning will be in effect, and high wind warning also in effect from 4 a.m. tomorrow all the way through 8 p.m. Another Santa Ana wind event expected Thursday and Friday. So this week is full of sunshine, but we're going to watch for those gusty winds because if a fire starts, it can spread very rapidly. On the back end, temperatures are going to slide as a trough of low pressure arrives. Next chance for rain in the forecast. Yeah, we're talking possibility of rain by this upcoming weekend, Saturday, Sunday timeframe. Let's take a look at traffic. It's light on the roads right now. No major crashes or collisions. You can head to our website, cbs8.com/traffic for the latest. Let's take a look at your border wait times now, where it is a 40-minute wait at the San Ysidro Port of Entry. Otay Mesa Port of Entry, much faster, going to get across in 5 minutes. Remember, today is MLK Junior Day, so it's likely a reason why a lot of people have school off, work off, quieter out there at the ports of entry. Back to you.